As an African, I think if you've been keen enough to note, you'll realize that the political climate in the continent is slowly changing. And we are slowly growing into an era whereby we have a case whereby the youth are slowly demanding accountability and better governance from their leaders. And some of these demands from the youth and the young generation mostly, I'll talk of the youth and the young adults, has led to mass protests, has led to a lot of activism within different countries in the continent. And in other parts of the continent, in other countries, it has also led to coups whereby the military has overtaken the government and began ruling countries. For instance, we have a case of Burkina Faso, which is led by Ibrahim Traore. And we are in a wave whereby the youth are sort of awakening politically, and they are starting to question governance. They're starting to question their leaders. They're starting to demand accountability, and they're starting to actively participate in politics and the governance of their countries to ensure that we sort of rise from this funk that we are in as Africans. We have, and I'll not only quote Burkina Faso, we also have countries such as Mali, I think Chad. We have Madagascar, though Madagascar also recently had its problems whereby with the leader. But we are also in an era whereby countries are being led by young people. Countries are being led by young minds, and we are in an era whereby young people are actively taking up political seats. Young people are questioning dictatorship governments. Young people are questioning systems that are running in their countries. Yeah. So I think it's high time for leaders, especially leaders to countries which are still led by the older generation. Let me put it this way: the older generation, if I'm being respectful, it's time for our older leaders to start reconsidering governance, to start understanding that the era of ruling through dictatorship is slowly coming to an end, to stop resisting the change that Africa is going through right now. And this case is not only in Africa, because we also have other countries around the world which have experienced a lot of youth-led protests. In this year alone, there are a lot of countries. We've had Bangladesh, we've had Nepal, we've had Sri Lanka. A lot of countries, the youth are awakening and talking about issues that are affecting their government, and questioning these government officials, and questioning issues such as corruption, such as misappropriation of funds, such as embezzlement of funds. The youth are questioning these things. And I won't say that this is a message to the leaders, because of course they don't listen and they'll never listen. But this is a message to the older generation, in this case our parents and grandparents, because they are the ones who vote for these people. They are the ones who are easily swayed by the lies that these leaders give us. They are the ones who think that when the political leaders do their job, they need to be clapped for. Because, for instance, in my country, Kenya, you'll find a politician in a rally saying, I'll build you roads, I'll do this, and people are clapping, people are cheering. But that is your job. Who's supposed to build the roads? That's what you're paid for. That's what every month you're paid to do, to build the roads, to make sure that systems work. That is your work. Why are you clapping? Why are you giving this person a second chance in office just because during the last year before the election, he came and built a hospital or built a school after embezzling money and engaging in countless corruption cases over the past years? I think this is time for our parents to just drive some sense to our parents and the grandparents, because we have a case whereby a lot of youth are losing their lives in this protest. A lot of youths are losing their lives demanding better. We've had cases, for instance, the Gen Z movement in Kenya last year and this year. Tanzania also took the lead in the protest this year. A lot of lives were lost. We have protests in Uganda. We have protests in a lot of countries, in Madagascar, whereby youths are just trying to demand better and want better systems for issues such as unemployment, such as lack of healthcare facilities, for basic issues to be sorted. But when the youth go to the streets to demand these things, or to demand better leaders or better governance, it's always them who are being killed. It's time for the older generation to wake up and realize that change, this is a wave of change. You cannot shut up the youth. And it's not as if like we're doing these things out of, how do I put it? It's not like we are thick-headed or we don't want to listen to you people, but we've grown up seeing these leaders doing the bare minimum. We've grown up seeing systems don't work, not working because of these leaders. We've grown up seeing that era of dictatorship for years, and it's time for a change. It's time for a change. It's time for African youth to wake up. Lives are being lost for nothing. It's time for the African older generation. In this case, I'm speaking for those people, I'll say ages 45 and above, because those are the ones whose thinking are so rigid. You don't want to change. This era of dictatorship will not last forever. You cannot shut the youth down forever. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's just time to wake up. Let the youth lead. For instance, we have Burkina Faso. Yes, it had a military coup, but it's doing well. Senegal is there with its young president. It's doing well. It's improving. We need fresh minds in these governments. We need fresh minds in these cabinets. We don't want to see a political leader who is in the 90s leading a country. In the 90s, you should be seated. You probably have dementia. You should be seated thinking about writing a will, not leading a country. Because if you have a leader who's 90 years old, 80, 90 years old, how will he understand the needs of youth who are probably over 60, like 50, 60 years older, younger than them? How will they understand their needs? We are in an era where things are changing. Technology has changed. A lot of things has changed. These young leaders are not moving with the change. They are not embracing these changes.